Welcome to yet another edition of the Stats and Stacks podcast, where today we're going over UFC Vegas 108, Taira versus Park. First things first, make sure you smash that like button. Give a follow over on Twitter, over on Instagram, over on TikTok, wherever there's social media. There's the Stats and Stacks podcast. I don't really know why you would want to follow right now because I'm on fucking schneid. It's bad. It's real bad. Can't win a bet if my life depended on it. We got absolutely murdered like everyone else at UFC Saudi Arabia. There's nothing that could have been done. Like no one was calling those upsets. So it is what it is. We had Davy Grant, right? We knew Davy Grant was going to win. That's about all we had right going. So, yeah, I just got absolutely railed for like the third week in a row. But again, I'll repeat, the beauty of MMA is that there's seemingly a new card every single week. PFL seems pretty easy to read this week, knock on wood. So hopefully we can get some cash from PFL and then push that over into the UFC. But we're gonna see. It is what it is. We will continue to do our research. We'll continue to post the bets and we'll continue to at least attempt to win money. A lot of people are shitting on this UFC Vegas 108 card. I like it. I think it's really exciting. I think there's going to be a ton of finishes, a lot of unexpected finishes, and overall just a lot of fun. There's a lot of finishing potential and a lot of volume with just pure scrap striker versus striker. So everyone that's complaining is a casual. They haven't done their research. And I will show you exactly why it's fun. So let's go ahead and we're going to jump into the very first fight of the night. Now, the odds for the very first fight are going to be a little weird, solely on the fact that Austin Bashi and John Giannis was added very, very late. Let's go ahead. Sorry, having a little bit of technical difficulties here. In regards to a line, I don't have an over-under for the fight, considering it just got added today. But what I do have is just a line for now. It's probably going to get steamed the Bashi direction. Bashi is currently minus 600, while John Yanis is plus 425. Right now, in regards to Yanis, because that's really what we want to know. Who is that? What does he do? He has some credible wins on his record. His last win was a fourth round KO over Nick Aguirre. Nick Aguirre was someone that was in the UFC. So that's an impressive win. Um, I think he beat someone else that was fairly decent along the way. Mo Miller. Mo Miller was a really big prospect at one point, just never really panned out. He went to a split decision with Cameron Smotherman. Cameron Smotherman is currently in the UFC, so to almost win that fight's pretty impressive. And that should tell you what type of fighter he is. He's a striker. He's 31 years old. He's making his debut on short notice. Granted, he was supposed to fight like 2 weeks after. So it's short notice in a sense, but he was in a camp, so don't let that fool you. He will be in shape here. I couldn't tell you what weight class his fight is at. I've seen 135 and 145. It's all over the place. Bashi is a pretty big 145 pounder, and Giannis generally fights at 135, 140. I mean, a lot of catch weights. Like he's a little bit of a tweener. I don't think he's a true 145 pounder, so that's going to be advantage Bashi. But all in all, he's a good striker. He has good cardio. He is okay level of competition. I do question his fight IQ. In one of his fights, he was fighting someone that only wanted to wrestle with him. The grappler got tired, and he was willing to go down to the ground and work his top game. If the guy cannot strike at all and has no cardio, just let him get back to his feet and beat him there. Like, don't play his game going down to the ground. So his fight IQ scares me. His takedown defense is absolutely horrid, but he does have a good get up game. He works really, really hard to get right back up. So, all in all, he is a 31-year-old striker with an okay record, okay level of competition, but he's a little one-dimensional. On the other side, we have Austin Bashi, who is someone the UFC is super, super high on. Austin Bashi is still only 23 years old. He is a grappler through and through. He is 13 and 1 coming off his first ever career loss to C-Rod because C-Rod beats every prospect. Bashi has good wrestling. He has good jiu-jitsu. His striking is underrated. It's really not bad at all. His volume's pretty low. I'm not a fan of that. And he's pretty hittable on the feet. I'm not the biggest fan of that. But his level of competition's okay. His cardio's okay. he doesn't really react well optically when he's getting hit. He does back up quite a bit. You can back him up. I mean, no one enjoys getting punched in the face, but some people, when you hit them, their just reactions look really, really bad to the judges. That's how bash he is. But that's really irrelevant when he's wrestling the entire time. And that is exactly what he should and is going to do against Giannis. Giannis is probably the better striker. But Giannis is going to be the smaller guy. Bashi's the better wrestler. He's the better jiu-jitsu practitioner. He's probably just going to try to bully him around with his size. So the pick is going to be Bashi. No wonder. I mean, he's minus 600. The bet, you can't really bet minus 600. I will kind of flirt with the under. Bashi does get some finishes quite early, honestly, in a lot of these. Pipe Vargas is a former UFC guy. Askar is a former UFC guy. He has some good wins and he's finishing them. So I'll definitely take Bashi. I'll definitely be on the under, but I have no idea what that line is. So pick is Bashi. The bet is the under. Next fight of the night, we have Piero Rodriguez at minus 190 going up against Ketlin Souza at plus 160. Over under set at 2.5. Over 2.5 minus 395. Under 2.5 plus 280. Let's start with Piero Rodriguez. She's someone I don't like at all. Something about her rubs me the wrong way. She kind of has an attitude. And it's someone that I continually tried to fade. I tried to fade her with Josephine Knutson. I tried to fade her with Ariana Carnelossi. I did fade her with Jillian Robertson. I tried to fade her with Sam Hughes. Like I continually bet against Piero Rodriguez. But I need to stop letting how I feel about fighters impact what's actually going on. She is someone that used to be able to fade. She used to have suspect cardio. She used to just try to bully really, really low level of competition. Use her size, use her aggression, and get you out of there. Because these girls were 0-0 and 1-2 and 1-0. They were awful, and she would just go out there and bully them, and it is what it is. Um, and then I thought she was going to get exposed on the UFC level. She went out there, had a really close fight with Sam Hughes, had a pretty close fight with Kay Hansen. And I'm like, you give me the right girl, I'm going to fade her. She goes out there and gets subbed by Jillian Robertson. And then she switches camps. And when she switched camps, she is a new fighter. She is all of a sudden a Nurmagomedov, and she is a wrestling queen. She doesn't just go out there. She used to grapple a lot. Now she goes out there and throws with absolute heat, and is looking to grapple. In her last fight against Josephine Knutson, Knutson had like 90% takedown defense. I was all over Knutson. And Piera went out there and got 8 takedowns and did not guess. She kept wrestling and had the cardio to do it. Wherever she went, I cannot recall what camp she went to. They patched up her cardio. And while they patched up her cardio, that allowed her wrestling to get better. And as her wrestling got better, you have to worry about it. And her striking got better. And with better cardio, she's able to hit harder for longer. And she just, all in all, from the Jillian Robertson loss in 23 to the Josephine Knudsen win in 24, completely different fighter. She's actually pretty decent. She has good wrestling. She has good jiu-jitsu. She has okay striking, but she hits really, really hard. She's just as aggressive, but can do it for 15 minutes. Like her cardio's okay now. She's sadly leveled up. She's not someone that you can just go out there and fade anymore. If you give her the right matchup, she's going to go out there and dominate and make it look easy. Um, they did it. They did. They gave her the right matchup. They gave her Ketlin Souza. Souza's 29 years old. Underrated striking. She's a very good striker on the feet. Underrated power. She can put your lights out if you give her the opportunity. Level of competition's all right. Angela Hill's probably the best fighter she ever fought. Lost by split decision. It is what it is. Karina Silva's pretty decent, but she went out there and got knee barred in a minute. Marnik Man's trash. Yasmin Wiragui is actually a good fighter, just has one of the worst chins in the weight class. So she went out there and exposed that. And on the regional scene, she really didn't fight anyone good at all. But outside of Ariana Carnelossi, they have a common opponent. Carnelossi ultimately finished her in round 3. Meanwhile, Carnelossi got her ass whooped by Rodriguez. MMA math is not anything I ever use, but they did have a common opponent within the last 5 years, so it is something I took a little bit of a look at. Main reason I'm going to go against Souza here, she does have a cardio advantage, but she's rocking a 62% takedown defense in the UFC. And in the UFC, she has fought Yasmin Yergui, Marnik Man, Karina Silva, and Angela Hill. So she fought a jiu-jitsu guy with bad or jiu-jitsu girl with bad wrestling. She fought Marnik Man, who's not UFC level, has not won a UFC fight. She fought Yasmin Wiragi, Mexican boxer, and Angela Hill, an American Muay Thai specialist. And she's still getting taken down. I watched her get taken. I watched Angela Hill double leg Souza twice her last fight. That was her last fight. That was this year in 2025. Angela Hill put on a singlet and double legged her. Can't do it. If I after seeing that and then seeing Rodriguez get 8 takedowns against a girl with decent takedown defense, absolutely not. Not only do I think Rodriguez is going to win, I think she's going to get her first finish she's been looking for in the UFC. I think she's going to get a ground and pound finish. Rodriguez has never gone for a submission in the UFC, even with all those 8 takedowns. She gets position and she wants to smash your face in. She's mean. She's aggressive. She doesn't want to choke you out. She wants to beat your fucking face in. And I think Sousa's going to give her 15 minutes to try to. So for that reason, the pick is going to be Rodriguez. The bet is going to be Rodriguez. Next fight of the night, we have Felipe Boons at plus 390 going up against Rafael Estevam at minus 520. Over under set at 2.5. Over 2.5 minus 155. Under 2.5 at plus 120. The fight is lined this way because of Rafael Estevam, because he has the same fight over and over and over and over again. Estevam is 28 years old. He is 13 and 0, and he has had the same formula for his entire career. He's a Nova União guy. He's at a good fight camp. He has good jiu-jitsu. He has good wrestling, and that is it. He has shit striking. He has god awful cardio. He will go out there and he will finish you early on the ground if you don't know what's going on down there. If you have a pulse on the ground, he's just going to hold on to you for dear life. Not throw any strikes at all. Just take you down and hold you for 15 minutes. He's going to dominate the first 2 rounds, and he's going to be hanging on for dear life in round 3 to the point where you think he's getting finished. He does this over and over and over. He wins the first 2 rounds. He takes round 3 completely off and is literally in survival mode. He has a draw incoming. One of these times, his opponent's going to get a 10-8, and it's not going to work for him. His cardio is just some of the worst I've ever seen. You also have to watch weigh-ins. He misses weight frequently at 125. He is a massive flyweight. He's extremely hittable on his feet, mainly because he just throws no volume, because he's not really the greatest striker. All in all, good wrestler, good jiu-jitsu guy, terrible cardio, terrible striking. Again, I said there's going to be a draw because someone's going to 10-8 this guy soon. It's probably not going to be Felipe because Felipe's cardio is just as bad. Neither one of them are going to be able to throw any punches in round 3. Felipe's 35 years old. He does have decent striking. He does have a little bit of power on him. He does have good jiu-jitsu. His wrestling, not great. He did get taken down by Josh Van multiple times, and that's scary because Josh Van, I think that's the only man Josh Van has ever taken down. Um, yeah, man. Very, very small sample size on the takedown defense, but it is rocking a current 0%. So, yeah, good striker, good BJJ guy, good partners. He trains with the Pitbull brothers. Decent power, slick on the ground and his finishing ability. He has, I think it's 14. Yeah, he has 14 career wins. 10 of them are round 1 finishes. Some subs, some knockouts. The dude is just an all-around killer. He goes out there and he wants to put your lights out. Problem is, if he doesn't get you early, you can usually take him out. Again, he does not have the best cardio and he does not have the best takedown defense. So to me, I think Esteban is going to either Esteban gets caught, which is very, very possible. Felipe is dangerous. I don't like stepping in front of him, especially at minus 520. These odds are trash. But what should go down like 90% of the time, Estevam goes out there and he just grapple fucks them until they're both gassed, and he either wins a clear decision or he gets a late round finish because they're both exhausted. At the end of the day, the biggest chance to win is Rafael. Do I want to bet that? No. I think this is a trap. Do not bet Estevam at minus 520 just because his cardio is that bad. Do you want to bet Felipe? No. I think his cardio is just as bad and just as that bad of a fighter. So the pick is Estevam. The bet. I might take a poke at that under 2.5 because it's plus money. So the bet is Estevan, or sorry, the pick is Estevan. The bet's going to be the under 2.5. They both have capability to finish due to their bad cardio. Next fight of the night, we could probably see a finish here as well with Rodolfo Vieira at minus 220 going up against Trizian Gore at plus 180. Over under set at 1.5. Over 1.5 minus 145. Under 1.5 at plus 115. Let's start with the black belt hunter and Rodolfo Vieira. Vieira is 35 years old, so he is at the very tail end of his career. But his picture, this speaks a thousand words. He is a BJJ savant. He is so damn good on the ground. His striking, not great. He knows what's happening. He has a good jab. That's all he has, but he has a pretty decent jab to throw out there. His wrestling, not great, but he will shoot 20, 30 takedowns if he has to. His cardio's trash. He does slow down in every single one of his fights, probably because he has to shoot so many goddamn takedowns because he's not good at it. Outside of that, if he does drag you down to the ground, you're in trouble. A lot of these BJJ guys will get you down and they can just control you and write out the round. He's looking to finish you, especially his choke series, like his arm triangles are serious. He has a lot of different setups to get to that arm triangle. And if he gets his arm around your neck, you're in some serious trouble. This guy is world class on the ground, but it's just his wrestling and striking leave a little to be desired. Good and his cardio. Good news is he's fighting Trezian Gore, who is somehow in the UFC. I mean, he has a 5-3 record. He's 31 years old. He was signed after the Ultimate Fighter show. That's the reason he's here. He has a 2-inch reach advantage. His striking's okay. His jiu-jitsu on paper is okay, but it's a little overrated. His wrestling's not really the greatest. His takedown defense is solid. His offensive wrestling is not good at all. And the main thing I'll say about his striking when I say it's okay is the fact that his volume is super, super low. It's crazy to say that the black belt hunter actually throws more volume than Gore when they're on the feet. Who hits harder? Gore. Absolutely. But Gore is won his last few fights, or his only fights in the UFC, by submission. He's grabbing onto your neck and he's snatching up a guillotine. I know the black belt hunter has been guillotined in the past, but that was out of sheer exhaustion. Gore also has bad cardio. Gore is also a touch chinny. His last two losses have come by KO. He got knocked out by Cody Brundage. He got knocked out by Marco Tulio. He got rocked by Brian Battle. He got taken down by Brian Battle too, which isn't the greatest look. So yeah, this guy is just very, very, very green. Um, three of his five wins are by submission, and it's going to be damn near impossible to submit the black belt hunter, so that's concerning. He's also a 170-pound fighter. He should not be up at 185. He's truly a welterweight. So he's going to be smaller. He's going to have worse jiu-jitsu when they both win by submission. That's the only means of winning. He's going to hit harder, but Adolfo's going to have the better volume. So at the end of the day, it should be Black Belt Hunter. Black Belt Hunter's 35, and he has been chin checked quite a bit as well. So could Gore go out there and catch him? Absolutely. He could absolutely catch him coming in and knock him out and be cocky as shit. Should it happen? No. I think you're getting good odds at minus 220 on Rodolfo Vieira, so that's the way I'm going. The pick is at Rodolfo Vieira. The bet is Rodolfo Vieira. Next fight of the night, God bless, might be what a lot of people would call a lock. And Rinya Nakamura at minus 425 going up against Nathan Fletcher at plus 330. Over 2.5 minus 215. Under 2.5 plus 165. Let me explain. Rinya Nakamura is another one of these guys that got hit by the undefeated in 2025. All the undefeated fighters in 2025 keep losing. Estevan, watch your back. And Muin Gafrov went out there and did the damn thing against him. There's nothing we can say. He went out there and he tried to strike with him. He only shot one half-assed takedown in the third round after already being down. And that's weird because he is an Olympic level wrestler. Rinya is 30 years old. He's in his prime. He has world-class Olympic wrestling. He has a BJJ black belt. He has pretty decent striking and decent power on him. His fight IQ is generally good. I mean, he got brought into the business. His father owned like an MMA promotion or gym or both or something like that. So he's been brought and bred for this business. He has all the physical tools. He has black belts in basically every discipline. His cardio, he can go 15 minutes. He'll get a little tired, but he can go a hard 15 minutes. He has it all. Okay. The only thing he didn't have was fight IQ his last fight. I don't know if it was just a bad weight cut. I have no idea. I've never seen him fight like that before. So a lot of people are got burned, and a lot of people have him on the never bet again list. This is why I think you need to forgive him. First and foremost, he's going to come back motivated after his first career loss. Being in 10 career fights and having your first loss is perfectly fine. He should be extra motivated and come back even better. Secondly, he's fighting Nathan Fletcher. Enough said. Nathan Fletcher's trash. Nathan Fletcher is 27 years old. He'll have an inch and a half reach advantage. He has good jujitsu. He trains, he's one of the main training partners of Patty Pimblett. He's really good on the ground. The problem is he can't wrestle to save his life. He can't strike to save his life. He has 50% takedown defense. He has really bad cardio. He gasses out in all of his fights. Like, none of this is good. If he can only practice jujitsu, first and foremost, he's going against a fellow black belt. They're both basically the same on the ground. Fletcher, although he's dangerous, I think Carlos Vera is a better BJJ black belt, and Rinya Nakamura took him down and stayed safe for 15 minutes. If he can do that with Carlos Vera, who's basically the same thing, only with better striking than Fletcher, I don't understand why Rinya wouldn't be able to do it to Fletcher. Secondly, if he wanted to just stand with Fletcher and not play with the only thing that he's good at, he would absolutely kill Fletcher on the feet. It's not even close. So if Rinya stands, he's going to win. If Rinya decides to put a singlet back on after his first loss, he's going to win. No matter what Rinya decides, it doesn't matter. He doesn't need fight IQ in this matchup. He's the better fighter. And this time they're both going to be overseas. You have a guy from England coming to Vegas against a guy from Japan coming to Vegas. They're both traveling. So unless he has a bad weight cut, I don't understand how Fletcher can win this fight. I think Rinya wins it no matter what he decides to do. So the pick is going to be Rinya Nakamura. The bet is going to be Rinya Nakamura, and he's going to return to form. Next fight of the night, we have my guy, blue collar, Nick Klein, plus 130, going up against Andrei Puliev at minus 155, over 1.5, minus 210, under 1.5 at plus 160. Let's start with Nick Klein. I love this guy. I'm the only one that loves this guy, and you never turn your back on your boys, so I'm going to bet this guy. Let me tell you why he can win this fight. Nick Klein is 29 years old. He has good jiu-jitsu. He is okay wrestling. His striking's not bad. The thing is, he grew up a striker, did originally strike in all of his fights, learned how to wrestle and grapple, got very good at wrestling and grappling, and realized, hey, I can win these fights without getting punched in the face. I have a kid. I have multiple kids. I have a wife. I want to keep my brain, so I'm just gonna go ahead and start grappling these guys. And he is a striker turned grappler. He is very good at grappling, but don't think he doesn't know how to strike. He also just plays it very safe when he is on the feet now. A lot of jabs, a lot of leg kicks. He doesn't like to get hit at all, but he is fully capable. He fully knows how to strike. That being said, it's probably a blessing that he decided he wants to grapple now because that's what he's good at, and he's at a weight class where not a lot of people know how. I consider 185 and up. 185, you still have good grapplers. 205 and heavyweight, no one knows what BJJ is. He's still at a weight class where some of these guys will be able to, but some still have no idea how to grapple. The bad things about him is cardio. It's not good. Not good at all. He has a solid 2 rounds in him, and then the third round is really, really, really sketchy. He's doesn't have the best optics when he is hit. He's another one of these guys where he's kind of telling the judges, "Hey, that hurt." Not the greatest look there. And you can back him up with him kind of flinching all around there. So yeah, although he grew up a striker and he knows how to do it, I don't want him to. I want him to wrestle and I want him to grapple. And again, he is good at it. On the other side, we have Puliev, and he's Russian. And I said, oh God, if Nick Klein gets out wrestled, he's really in trouble. This Russian is a striker. This is a Russian striker, not a Russian wrestler. And I like my Russians to wrestle. This one comes out. He's 27 years old. He has an inch and a half reach advantage. He's used to having a really, really long reach on everyone. Only an inch and a half here. So that's interesting. He does have good striking. I'll give him that, but he's not very powerful. A lot of body kicks, a lot of jabs, a lot of long, rangy stuff. He also does not like to get hit, and he backs up quite a bit with bad optics as well. His jiu-jitsu is all right. He knows what's going on the ground, but Klein is a much superior grappler. His wins are trash. His wins are really, really weird. He trains with a former UFC fighter. That UFC fighter has his own MMA promotion, and Shelemenko, like, literally he had, I think it's 8 fights under that banner. And one of the in the fights where he's not fighting for his trainer, where they're able to hand pick his opponents, he's like 1-3. Like he he actually has a losing record when he's not fighting in his trainer's promotion where they pick who he's fighting. So is he actually good? I don't know. They didn't pick his opponent in Contender Series, but he fought a punching bag. Like Liam Anderson, God bless him. He's from Buffalo. He's from my hometown. He's not good. He's a good BJJ guy, but a terrible striker and does not know what head movement is. When he did finally get Puliev down to the ground, he mounted him with ease and was beating the shit out of him until he ran out of time in round two. And then he went right back to getting killed. Um, so if Klein can get this to the feet, he probably finishes Polyev. If Klein doesn't get this, or sorry, to the ground. If Klein doesn't get this to the ground, Polyev probably kicks his body until Klein's body finally shuts off at one point in round two or three. Either way, I like the under here. The under is plus 160 for 1.5. I prefer the 2.5. I think a Polyev would be a late finish, a Klein would be an early finish. So for that, I'm just gonna go ahead and stick by my guy and Nick Klein. And I'm gonna go ahead and bet Nick Klein at plus money. So the pick is gonna be Nick Klein, the bet's gonna be Nick Klein at plus 130. If you want something safer, the under 2.5, I really don't see this thing going the distance. Next fight of the night will be quick on because we don't know if it's happening. We have Danny Silva at plus 350 going up against Kevin Vallejos at minus 455. Over under set at 2.5. Over 2.5 plus 120. Under 2.5 at minus 155. Kevin, let's just start with Kevin because he's who the UFC wants to win. Kevin is 23 years old, which is crazy because he fought in Dana White Contender Series against the Gene Silva. And he was a favorite at 20 years old against Gene Silva and gave him one hell of a fight. First and foremost, went to decision and was able to withstand everything Gene threw his way, which no one else in the UFC has been able to do. Secondly, he won the third round against Gene Silva, hurt him multiple times to the body. It was a banger. Silva won, but it was a very close fight, and that was at 20 years old. Now he's 23. He has good striking. He has underrated jiu-jitsu. He has good power. His wrestling's okay. We saw him take down Silva. His level of competition's okay. His cardio's good. His volume's high. I mean, he just loves to march forward and box you. Very, very, very good boxing. Very good counter striker. But he doesn't want to just counter strike. He'll go first as well. If you make him counter strike because you're like tall and lanky, he'll do it. But if you're not and he can just march you down, that's what he prefers to do. He's got good cardio. He does it all. He's just a really, really, really good striker. Okay wrestling, okay jiu-jitsu, but he's 23 and getting better and better and better. On the other side, we have Danny Silva, who misses weight all the time and is apparently having a hard time with his weight cut this week, per Kevin Vallejos on Twitter. And Kevin himself said Danny may not make weight and he's not fighting him if he's way overweight. So this fight's probably not going to happen. But in case it does, Danny Silva's 28 years old, he'll have a 2-inch reach advantage. He has good striking. He himself throws a ton of volume. His wrestling's okay, and he will mix it in. His jujitsu's okay, but I'll probably give advantage to Kevin. He goes to split decision a lot. He fights a lot of guys close, and you're thinking, well, if he sprinkles in takedowns and throws a ton of volume, how come he is a split over Lucas Almeida, a split over Josh Kulabau? Why is everything going to a split decision? It's because he does not believe in head movement. He thinks that's optional. and he gets hit just as much. If he's going out there and he's landing the Angel Pacheco fight in Contender Series, he landed like 200 significant strikes. But he let Angel land like 180. So it's not great. And to not have head movement against a Mexican or a Argentina power puncher, not a good look there. Danny's also very, very boxing heavy, and he is better when he's moving forward. So both of these guys are one of good. It's just going to be a car crash. Like both these guys are going to come forward, start bringing heavies, and it's a matter of who falls first. If we're going chin for chin and power for power, I'm taking Kevin every day of the week. Do I want to do that at minus 455? Not really. But the pick will be Kevin. The bet would end up being Kevin, but I really don't know if this fight is going to happen. I guess Danny is really struggling to make weight. Unfortunately, this next fight probably is happening. We have Alezu. This is the one fight I don't like on the card. We have Alezu Zaleski at minus 205 going up against Neil Magny at plus 170. Over under set at 2.5. Over 2.5 minus 180. Under 2.5 at plus 140. Let's start with Zaleski actually. Zaleski is a capoeira fighter, so he has really good striking, but he's 38 years old. He is a BJJ black belt. But he hardly wrestles, and he's not the greatest at it, so you don't really see his black belt on display. His level of competition's decent, but he is slowing down in his fights because he's 38 years old. He's getting tired. He is getting chin checked. He's 38 years old. His durability is leaving. He himself is rocking a 68% takedown defense. His volume is still fine. He's just getting tired with all that volume. And his power is always the last thing to go, so he can still put your lights out. The reason this fight is tricky to me is because I want to bet Neil Magny. I feel like I should bet Neil Magny because I think if this stays on the feet, Zaleski is the better striker, but Neil clinches like crazy. And I think he's just going to be the bigger guy and just hold Alezu against the cage and try to win like a split decision that way. I could definitely see this being clinch dirty boxing, and uh, Zaleski loves the clinch as well. So, like, he will fully welcome it. I have seen recently. He fought Randy Brown. Zaleski fought Chidi and Kawani. When he's fighting these tall, lanky guys, he's going out there and wrestling. He didn't wrestle Zach Scroggin. He didn't wrestle Renat Fakhrdiev or Abubakar, even if he wanted to. He went out there and he struck with them. BSD. He went out there and struck with them. But when he fought someone that was really tall and lanky, he lost, but he took down Chidi multiple times. He took down Randy Brown multiple times, and he tried to wrestle his way to a win. Neil Magny's another tall, lanky black guy. That's what it comes down to. He doesn't have the threat that Chidi and Randy Brown do on the feet, but he has the exact same body type. So is Zaleski gonna wrestle? That's what I need to know. If he does, he might sub Neil Magny. Neil Magny's jiu-jitsu is okay. But he is known to get taken down and taken out real quick. We saw Gilbert Burns take him out and sub him. We saw, oh God, who else took him out and subbed him real fast? Shavkat took him down and subbed him. It is a path to victory repeatedly against Neil Magny. Rafael Dos Anjos took him down and subbed him in round one. Like all these guys just take him down and sub him. Damian Maya, that's how you beat him. Sergio Moraes, yeah, he has a lot of round one subs. It's intense. You can knock him out as of late because Neil Magny's also old. He's 37 years old. He's gonna have a 7-inch reach advantage. And he's what you call a generalist. He has okay jiu-jitsu, he has okay wrestling, he has okay striking, but he doesn't excel at any of it. His biggest weapon is his cardio. He did slow down in the Phil Rowe fight, but ultimately he got the job done. He went and won round three against Mike Malott, had decent cardio against Ian Machado Gary. He did show cracks in the cardio, but he still has a lot more than people he's been fighting recently, including Zaleski. He's a little chinny now, again with his age, and he's fought the who's who of the weight class: Carlos Prates, Michael Morales, Ian Gary, Shavkat. We basically just named the top five of this of the 170-pound division, and Neil Magny's fighting all of them. He's not winning, but when you give him a step down in a Max Griffin or a D-Rod, who we just saw 2 weeks ago, or a Phil Rowe, he goes out there and he wins those fights. What do you consider Zaleski? Is he closer to Shavkat or is he closer to Phil Rowe? I would definitely say Phil Rowe. So for that reason, Neil Magny at plus money is the only way I'm looking. Pick is going to be Zaleski in case he wrestles and in case he takes down Neil Magny. He has more ways to win. But I don't trust 38-year-old Zaleski to go out there and wrestle to win. The pick is going to be Zaleski. The bet is going to end up being Neil Magny, and I think I'm going to have to pull the trigger. I don't really have a choice. Next fight of the night is another one that feels easy on paper, but just I have my reservations. Carol Hossa is a minus 185 favorite going against Nora Cannoli at plus 155, over 2.5 minus 550, under 2.5 at plus 360. Let's start with Carol Hossa. She's someone I like a lot because I can read her like a book. She's generally a dog, and she always comes through as a dog. When she's a favorite, things get a little dicey. She does have a lot of really, really close fights in her UFC career, mainly because she's another generalist. She's good everywhere. She's 30 years old. She has good striking. She has good jiu-jitsu. She is a black belt. Wrestling, 70% takedown defense. Offensively, she'll sprinkle it in here and there. We saw her take down uh, not Yana, Lena Landsberg 3 times in order to win. We've seen her utilize wrestling against Laura Procopio. She will, or not Laura, against Jocelyn Edwards. She will go out there and wrestle if she has to. She will. She prefers not to, though. She prefers to kill you with volume, and that's why all her fights are so close. She doesn't hit hard at all. She's not really hurting anyone. She hurt Big Norm Dumont somehow, but outside of that, and when she hurt Irene Aldana with leg kicks, outside of that, she just doesn't have any pop in the hands. And so she mixes in instead of going for really, really hard punches to put you out, she's going to hit you at 250 of them. Like it's insane. The girl is averaging like 170 significant strikes per minute. Or per minute, wow, per fight. Like the row. She is a DFS dream. Again, and if this does hit the ground, she's a BJJ black belt. He's not getting any finishes. All of her wins are by decision. But she just kills you with volume and she'll sprinkle in the takedown if it's the easiest route. I like Carol Hosa. She's a smart girl. But it's real easy to decide when to bet her and when to not. Eileen Perez is a good wrestler, took her down and won the fight. Pandy Kianzad is a striker and she outstruck her. Irene Aldana as a striker, and it was a very, very, very close fight. Could have went either way. Yana Santos is a striker. It was a close fight, but she got the nod. And Carol got the nod. Norma Dumont is she can do it all. Sometimes she wrestles, sometimes she strikes. It was a close fight. Norma got the nod and some controversy, but I'm a Dumont fan, so I'm for it. Lena Landsberg, she went out there and out grappled and she lost to Sarah McMahon, who is a silver medalist in wrestling. So in the UFC, she has lost 3 times. In those 3 losses, she got out grappled by Perez, she got out grappled by Sarah McMahon, and Norma Dumont. Although she didn't take her down and hold her, a lot of cage control, like 8 minutes of cage control, out grappling her against the cage. So if you can get Hosa down or against the cage and just hold her there, you can beat her. Cornoli's not a wrestler. Cornoli's another striker. Cornoli's 35 years old. She has decent power on her. She's a world-class kickboxer. She's a good striker. Um, but she's rocking a 50% takedown defense. So if Carol Hosa wants this on the ground, she could always take that route with her singlet. If they stay on the feet, Cornoli doesn't throw a ton of volume. Hosa will triple her up on the feet and it's going to turn into the big punches of Cornoli against the volume of Hosa and which way the judges see it. This has split written all over it. But Cornoli has really, really been working on her grappling, and her grappling has gotten much better. I'll give the devil her due. Much better grappler. We saw it in the Haley Cowan fight. We saw it in the Jocelyn Edwards fight in her debut. We saw it in the Calvacanti fight. Like she got a takedown against Calvacanti. She's much improving there. What she needs to think about is all of these wrestlers that go out there, get a knockout, and decide that they're strikers and knockout artists now and forget to wrestle. This girl falls in love with her grappling too much. Like she does not get up. If you put her on her ass, She does not have an urgent get up game anymore. She's lost that. She wants to play a guard and she wants to go for arm bars and sweeps, and that's not going to work against Carol Hosa. If Carol puts on her singlet like she does randomly and takes down 50% Cornell, she's going to kill her on the ground. Like it won't even be close. And on the feet, it's 50-50 and it scares the hell out of me at these odds. But I think Hosa has more ways to win. She can ground her. She can out volume her. She can do it all. So pick is going to be Carol Hosa. The bet's going to be Carol Hosa, but know that she likes to make every single fight close. So you're kind of playing with fire. Next fight of the night, we have Esteban Ribovic at minus 265 going up against Elves Brenner at plus 215. Over under set at 1.5. Over 1.5 minus 260. Under 1.5 at plus 195. Let's start with my guy Esteban. I love Esteban. He's one of the most fun fighters in the UFC, and he's getting that recognition. He is 29 years old, so he's in his prime. He has good striking. He has decent power. He is okay jujitsu, aka his Kimura. He will go to the Kimura over and over and over again. He has good cardio. He throws a ton of volume. Where he goes wrong is a 63% takedown defense. Not that good of a wrestler. He will never offensive wrestle, and when he defensively wrestles, 63%, it's gotten better, but it's not good. It's not good at all. And once he gets taken down, he just gives up his back and he grabs a Kimura essentially and uses that to either go for it or to get up. That's what he does over and over and over. And he's good at it. It's weird. It's like you have to abandon because his Kimura is threatening, and then he's right back up. Urgent get up game. And if you do decide to strike with him, you're in for a whirlwind because he's going to throw a ton of volume with a ton of heat, and he does not stop. He does not get tired. He keeps coming forward and swinging and swinging and swinging until you go down. It is super entertaining to watch. On the other side, we have another entertaining fighter and Elvis Brenner. Just go ahead and sign the 50K bonus of these two now. Elvis Brenner's 27 years old, so he's also in his prime. He's going to have a 3-inch reach advantage. He's a shoot the box guy. So he fights like all of them. Head movement's optional, but he is good on the ground. He's a BJJ black belt. His wrestling's not great to get it there, but he knows what's going on down there. And on the feet, again, defensively a liability, offensively marches forward with just a ton of firepower. So he has okay striking, he has okay jiu-jitsu, he has okay wrestling. It's a 3-inch reach advantage. He himself has good cardio. It's not Esteban level good, but it's good. He can go hard in 15 minutes. I just hate how goddamn hittable he is. And I kept saying he has a little bit of an Usman chin. He's going to get hurt and he's going to get put out because he Homer Simpsons everything. So here to Hugov, I thought he lost that fight. He got hurt multiple times in his UFC debut. Kaon, whatever, he just went out there and dominated. Guram Kutaladze. He went out there and almost got finished in round one. Guram got tired beating his ass, and then he ultimately got the finish over Guram. Mitabek Oralbai. Oralbai beat the absolute dog shit out of him. Then Oralbai got tired from beating him up, and he almost got the finish in round three. Joel Alvarez did not get tired, and then ultimately finished him in round three and finally got that KO that's been eluding him. But the guy has literally had one, two, three, four, five UFC fights, and he's been hurt and stopped or almost stopped in four of them. He just has a lot of heart. He doesn't just go out. You can rock him. He does not move his head, but he's going to keep coming, and you have to literally put him out. I think Esteban's willing. The thing is, just like Joel Alvarez, Esteban hits hard. He throws a ton of volume, and he does not get. Joel usually gets tired. Esteban does not get tired. So this could be a close fight if Elves decides to wrestle. I've seen him wrestle before. If he wants to go out there, if it turned into Brenner Nurmagomedov, he can make this fight really close. He can make it really greasy. And I can really see this fight being a split decision. But at the end of the day, the UFC would prefer Ribovic. So even in the split, I think Ribovic would win. And I think Ribovic also has the ability to KO Brenner since he doesn't move his head. So all in all, more ways to win for Ribovic. The pick is going to be Esteban. The bet is going to be Esteban. Next fight of the night, we have Chris the Problem Duncan at plus 170 going up against Mateusz Rebecki at minus 205. Over under set at 1.5. Over 1.5 minus 165. Under 1.5 at plus 130. Let's start with Chris Duncan. Just like Pierre Rodriguez earlier, he's another one that I do not like, and I continually tried to fade, and he has continually taken my money. He is 13 and 2. He is 32 years old. He's going to have a 5.5 inch reach advantage in this matchup, which is massive. He has good striking, and all of a sudden, he decided to go to ATT and he has good wrestling and good jiu-jitsu. He won his last two fights via guillotine, so apparently if you stick your head in there, you're in serious trouble. He does carry a ton of power on him, so you have to be scared of his grappling. He will try to wrestle. And on the feet, you have to be wary of his power. Like you always have to be careful with this guy. What I don't like, his chin. His chin is absolute trash. And I think that's part of the reason he's been a wrestler since going over to ATT. He got into the UFC, switched camps, was training in South Florida, and all of a sudden took down Omar Morales. He went out there and he fought as Moose. Broke his arm in round one, so I don't really count this fight. But he did go out there and out grapple and got like three takedowns on Yanal as Moose. He went out there and got sparked by Manuel Torres. It is what it is. But Agioki, he went out there and got taken down twice, but slapped on that guillotine because he's been working on his jiu-jitsu. Jordan Vucenic went out there and he hurt Jordan because he does have decent power. Got the takedown, dominated round one. Round two, Jordan came out and took him down and then slapped on that guillotine and choked him out again. ATT Duncan is a problem. ATT Duncan all of a sudden is a world-class grappler. They grabbed his power and said, you know what? We know you have a bad chin. You can't expose it if you're on top on the ground. And it's just genius. That's what they've been doing. And just like Pierre Rodriguez, that change of schedule literally changed the trajectory of his career because he was chinny with 37% takedown defense, and now he's just going to hide that by offense. You also can't get taken down if you're the one shooting the takedowns. So 37% takedown defense and no chin is not a problem if you are a wrestler. Smart move, ATT, a way to know how to use your fighters. Here's the problem. Mateusz Rebecki also trains at ATT. In fact, they both live in the dorms at ATT and are like, they're not roommates. But Duncan was saying that Rebecca is right in the room right next to him, so that's awkward. So any of the secret sauce that ATT is giving Duncan, they're also given to Rebecca. Rebecca's 32 years old as well. He has good striking. He has good wrestling. His jiu-jitsu's okay. He's rocking a 45% takedown defense, but that number's skewed because he is tired. A lot of these takedowns were happening in the third round against Carlos Diego Ferreira. They're happening in the third round against Mitbek Oralby when he's absolutely exhausted. So yeah, 47 is not a good number, but his takedown defense in rounds one and two are a lot different than his takedown defense totals in round three when he's exhausted. It's more exhausted takedowns, especially because he's so short and compact. He's very difficult to take down. He has a ton of pressure. He's fought a good level of competition, just like Duncan. And they're basically the same thing. Good striking, good wrestling, okay jiu-jitsu. Like, that's what it comes down to. Only difference is um, Rebecca's striking is probably a touch better. His striking defense is a little better. His wrestling is a little better. His cardio is probably a little better. His durability is a little better. He's like a touch better at everything. Can Duncan go out there and spark Rebecca? Yes. Can Duncan go out there and submit Rebecca? I don't know. It'll be hard. Rebecca's really short and stocky. He doesn't really have a neck to choke out to begin with. So I say that as a joke, but I'm partially serious that he literally doesn't have a neck to choke. So and I think Rebecca's the better offensive wrestler anyway. So at that juncture, I'm going to side with Vegas. I'm going to pick Rebecca. I'm going to bet Rebecca. He's either going to dominate and make it look easy, or he's going to go out there and get finished probably. It's probably no in between. No close decisions, nothing like that. It's going to be Rebecca with ease or a Duncan catching him. And that takes us to the main event. If you haven't already, smash the like button. What are you doing? Give a follower on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, wherever there's social media. There's the Stats and Stacks podcast. Our new main event no longer has Amir Albazi. It is now Tatsuro Taira at minus 340, going up against Hai Sung Park at plus 270. Over under set at 3.5. Over 3.5 plus 100. Under 3.5 at minus 130. The under being the favorite here is because of Hai Sung Park. I think he has finished his last like 7 or 6 fights in a row. Park is one of these guys I went in and I tried to fade again. I tried to fade him with Carlos Hernandez. I tried to fade him with Shannon Ross. I tried to fade him with Sang-Gook Choi in the finale of Road to UFC. I've just seen Park hurt multiple times. I've seen Park gas out multiple times, and I don't like my fighters to have no chin and no cardio. Not a fan. However, he's another one of these fighters that switch camps and has just leveled up. This is the whole card of they were bad, they switched stuff, and now they're better. Like there's multiple people on this card that have done that. Park is 29, so he's just entering his prime. He's on short notice, but he was scheduled to fight Steve Ursig next week. So he is scheduled to fight a top 10 guy. Regardless, he's just doing a week early with a different guy. So it is what it is. It's not really short notice. His striking's okay. His jiu-jitsu's okay. His wrestling, he currently has 100% takedown defense. Granted, it's only Sung Gook Choi and Shannon Ross that tried to take him down. So two of the worst wrestlers, 100% takedown defense number might be a little skewed. But 100 is 100. Um, his level of competition could be better. Again, Carlos Hernandez is probably his best win, and the best guy he's ever fought. So that's concerning. But he does have sneaky power. He hits decently hard. He's gotten a lot better. That's all I can say. He's pressuring now. He put on some muscle. He's moving forward and he's looking to put your lights out. On the ground, he's a BJJ black belt. He knows what's happening. Has a ton of submissions down there. And in regards to the wrestling department, he doesn't wrestle a lot, but he can defensively grapple pretty well. On the other side, we have the grappler of grapplers and Tatsuro Taira. Taira is only 25 years old. He is an absolute prodigy. He's going to have a 4-inch reach advantage. He has world-class jiu-jitsu, much better BJJ practitioner. His wrestling is catching up to his jiu-jitsu, and that's scary. Wrestling, since he's been training in America, has been getting much better. Power and striking, since he's been over in Denver, Colorado, is much better. His cardio, he used to get tired. He went over to elevation at in Denver, and his cardio has gotten much better. His level of competition, while Park is beating Carlos Hernandez and Shannon Ross, Tyra's going to a split decision with Raw Dog. Tyra's finishing Alex Perez. He also fought Carlos Hernandez and finished him, but he knocked him out. Edgar Chairez, Jesus Aguilar, these guys, yeah, they're whatever. Split to Brandon Royval and finishing Alex Perez is very, very impressive. Tyra's a real deal. His striking and his wrestling are catching up. His cardio's catching up. And I just think in a matchup where he doesn't even need a takedown, he really just needs to somehow get a back take, just climb Park like a tree. Because we learned that Taira has one of the best back takes in all of MMA. So not just this weight class, in all of MMA. If he gets that back, you ain't getting up. And on the feet, it's close. On the ground, it's not close. And in regards to the wrestling, I don't really know. Park is a big mystery. So, but I've seen Tyra go a full 15. I've never seen Park do that. 15 minutes. So it'll be interesting to see. The pick is going to be Tyra. The bet's going to be Tyra. Do I like him at this odds? Not really, because Park is just an unknown. There's a lot of I don't know with Park. I don't know who's the better striker. I don't know who's the better wrestler. I don't know who has better cardio. Things I do know is level of competition and jujitsu. So for that, and the younger guy, I'm just going to go ahead and take Tyra. I'm going to bet Tyra. But if I have a whole bunch of parlays open, I'll probably just sprinkle and hedge with Park. Park is a good hedge candidate, being almost plus 300 in the last fight of the night. And that's UFC Vegas 108. Again, a ton of people at volume, a ton of people that can finish, a ton of money to be won and had. It is what it is with last week. We're on to the next one. Let's get paid this weekend. Let's get it.